Imagine needing $50,000 for a business opportunity, a house deposit, or even an emergency. Most people have two choices. They either go to the bank and ask for permission to borrow their own future income, or they sell their investments. But what if there's a third option? What if you could unlock the value of your investments without selling them? That's exactly what some crypto holders are doing today. They are borrowing against their digital assets instead of cashing them out. It's one of the biggest shifts happening in finance, yet very few people understand it. In this video, I'm going to explain what it means to be your own bank, how crypto-backed loans work, the benefits, the risks, and why this could completely change how people think about wealth. Let's dive in. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Imagine needing money but not having to sell your Bitcoin or Ethereum. You keep every coin, still benefit if it moves, and get cash or stable coins right now. No credit score, no bank approval, just you in full control. This is what being your own bank looks like in crypto. It means taking greater control over your money. Traditional banks hold your money, lend it out for their profits, and make you jump through hoops for a loan. In crypto and DeFi, you flip the script. You become the bank. You put your crypto into smart contract powered liquidity pools. These protocols let you borrow against what you already own, using your holdings as collateral. The magic is over collateralization. You lock up more value in crypto than the amount you borrow. For example, you might put 100,000 worth of Bitcoin to borrow 50 to 60,000 in stable coins. The extra buffer protects the system from volatility. Your crypto stays invested while you gain access to liquidity. And why should you do this? I'm going to give you a few reasons why you should do this. The first reason is you have to unlock liquidity. You unlock liquidity without selling or triggering taxes. So that means you don't have to pay taxes for the money that you're borrowing. Number two, you keep your crypto working for potential future gains. So without selling your crypto, it means that your crypto will still keep working for you. Number three is you access funds for real life. That is house, business, emergencies, while staying invested. And number four, you even run advanced strategies like looping to increase your position size. Now I'm going to talk about why selling isn't always the best option for you. Let's imagine you bought Bitcoin several years ago and it's now worth, say, 100,000. You suddenly need 30,000. Most people immediately think, I'll just sell some of my Bitcoin. But selling has consequences. First, you reduce your future exposure. If Bitcoin doubles next year, you've already sold part of your position. And second, selling may trigger capital gains taxes depending on where you live. And third, once you sell, you're out. Borrowing works differently. Instead of selling the asset, you temporarily lock it up as collateral. You receive a loan while continuing to own the asset. If the value increases over time, you still benefit because you never sold it. The process is actually quite simple. Here's the core process. You deposit supported crypto. Think Bitcoin, maybe wrapped Bitcoin, Ethereum, or major altcoins into a DeFi protocol. That deposit becomes collateral. Then you borrow another asset, usually stable coins like USDC or USDT, up to a percentage of your collateral's value. This percentage is called the loan to value ratio or LTV. Common LTVs sit between 50% and 70%, depending on the asset and platform. The protocol constantly monitors the value. If your collateral's price drops too much and your LTV gets too high, the system can automatically liquidate part of your assets to repay the loan. That's why staying conservative is key. You can repay the borrowed amount plus interest at any time. There's no rigid schedule on most platforms. Once repaid, your collateral is fully unlocked. Interest rates are usually variable and often much lower than traditional loans, especially when borrowing stables. Lenders, on the other side, earn yield on what they supply, creating a balanced marketplace. Importantly, everything happens on-chain through transparent smart contracts. No middlemen deciding if you qualify. Top protocols for this include Aave, which is spelled AAVE, and the Flare protocol or the Flare network, and others. There's many others. Some people prefer centralized options like certain exchanges or lending platforms for simpler interfaces, but pure DeFi gives you maximum control. The basic strategy is borrow stablecoins for spending or opportunities, repay later when convenient. An advanced strategy is borrow against your ETH, use the stablecoins to buy more ETH, deposit that as new collateral, and repeat carefully. This amplifies gains if the market goes up, but also loses if it goes down. Many holders use this to access real world money. They convert stablecoins to fiat currencies while hodling through bull runs. There are generally two ways people borrow against crypto. The first is centralized lending. A company holds your collateral and issues the loan. This often provides a simpler user experience and customer support, but it requires trusting that company with your assets. The second is decentralized finance, often called DeFi. Instead of dealing with a company, you interact with smart contracts on a blockchain. The rules are programmed into code. There's no loan officer, no bank manager, no office deciding whether you're approved. If you provide sufficient collateral, the smart contract allows the loan according to its rules. This is one of the innovations that has made decentralized finance so popular. Some may ask, what happens if crypto falls? This is one of the biggest risks. Let's say you borrow 50,000 against 100,000 worth of crypto. Everything looks fine. Then the crypto market crashes. Your collateral might suddenly only be worth 60,000. The lender now has much less protection. If your collateral falls between certain thresholds, the platform may ask you to add more collateral, and this is called a margin call. If you don't, part of your crypto could automatically be sold to repay the loan. This is known as liquidation. Understanding liquidation is probably the single most important thing before ever borrowing against crypto. Many investors deliberately borrow much less than the maximum allowed to reduce this risk. A sharp price drop can wipe out part of your collateral before you react. That's why smart investors keep their LTV well below the maximum. Think 40 to 50% to give yourself breathing room. Bottom line is only use money you can afford to manage effectively. Start very small and never over leverage. Other real risks involved include smart contracts containing vulnerabilities, interest rates changing, regulations continuing to evolve, and some centralized companies carry counterparty risk. This strategy isn't suitable for everyone. Understanding the risks should always come before chasing the rewards. So, what can you use borrowed funds for? People use crypto backed loans for many different reasons. Some use them to start businesses, some invest in real estate, others pay unexpected expenses, and some simply avoid selling appreciating assets. Others use borrowed stablecoins within DeFi to earn yield, although that introduces additional risks and complexity. The important point is this: borrowing should ideally be used for productive purposes. Taking out loans simply to buy more speculative investments can significantly increase risk. The bigger picture with all this is that financial choice is expanding. Crypto backed lending gives investors another option instead of relying solely on traditional banks. Being your own bank with crypto collateral is one of the most powerful ideas in decentralized finance. It gives you liquidity, flexibility, and true ownership that traditional systems can't match. But it rewards knowledge and discipline. Educate yourself, manage risk first, and treat it as a tool, not a get rich quick scheme. So, what's your take on this? Would you ever borrow against your crypto stack? Drop your thoughts or biggest questions in the comments. And if you found this helpful, smash that like button. Subscribe for more straightforward content on cryptocurrency, blockchain, and wealth building, and turn on notifications. Remember, this is not financial advice. Always do your own research and only risk what you can afford to lose. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sovereign.